Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 10 of Millennial Real Life Budget Review. Today we are taking a look at a physician assistant making $114,000 per year in Southwest Virginia. This person has a lot of student loans and more recently just picked up a car loan for close to $30,000. Let's get into it. Okay, so I mentioned this person has a lot of student loans. It's $143,000. And you're probably thinking, well, no duh, because she's a physician assistant. PA school actually is just so much ridiculous amounts of money in order to go through. And then you make a lot of money and you work a lot of hours, but a lot of those working hours goes towards paying down that debt. But let's go ahead and take a look into the questions that she answered. So I asked, what was the biggest thing you struggled with financially? They said the weight of six-figure student loans. They started their debt payoff in January 2020 when she started working. I asked, what are your top 2 to 3 financial goals? Number 1, pay off the student loans as soon as possible. Also paying off the car, and then eventually moving into a new home. They currently have $5,000 saved up in an emergency fund. And a little bit more backstory on her situation is, I live with my boyfriend who owns his home. It's an old farmhouse, but thankfully safe, livable, and very cheap cost of living. We have a shared credit card that we put all our shared expenses on and split the bill 50-50, paid off in full every month. Hooray! This person actually does not have any credit card debt. I was really happy to hear that. Also, they have the occasional opportunity to work extra shifts or alternate to work night shifts where they make an extra $10 an hour. Okay, she also has 3 dogs, and she ended up purchasing or taking out a car loan for a 2023 CRV hybrid. So they have a car loan with a 5% interest rate and a monthly payment of $568. Ugh. So she put $15,000 down, but she still has $29,000 left on it with a 5-year plan. Now, they also have been working on putting aside separate savings for the student loans, because right now her federal student loans, as maybe yours as well, are in interest and payment forbearance. There's a complete pause on it right now due to the pandemic, and we're also waiting to see if there's a $10,000 student loan blanket forgiveness that's currently tied up in the court system. And hopefully, if that goes through, then that could minimize her debt even more. So actually, she took her student loans. She has multiple student loans, and she's trying to focus on the highest interest rate student loan first and paying that off. The highest interest rate student loan that she has is 7.6%. About $17,000 is with that interest rate. So with the savings that she has built up, which is close to $37,000 set aside, she could pay off that loan immediately. She has about $42,000 at 7% interest rate, and then she has about half of that saved, which she could make a lump sum payment when payments resume. So she plans to pay minimums once student loans resume, which would be $224 per month, or until the next income request update happens. So she signed up for income-driven repayment plans, and that was based off of her income at that time in 2020 was $50,000. Now it's dramatically increased since then. So I know the next time that the update needs to happen, her payments are going to increase. The rest of her student loans are at 5% or less. Okay, knowing all of that backstory, let's go ahead and jump into her budget and see what's going on. All right, here we go. I love, by the way, how she color-coded the template and just made it all her own, personalized. That's so great. By the way, you guys can pick up this budget template using the budget toolkit link listed in the description box below. Let's check this out. So I'm gonna take a look at her net income here, and I did verify this is her actual take home that hits her bank account. So $5,572. She's got savings of close to $3K, and then monthly expenses of over $3K. So right now she's a loss of $400. So something needs to change inside of the budget to make sure this net is as close to zero as possible. Let's take a look at the debt. So she's got her federal loans. She said that minimum monthly payment is going to be $224 once the payments resume, probably later this year, and then $143,435 in total federal student loan debt. The car note is at $29,652, 5% interest rate at $570 per month in what she's actually paying towards that car payment. And then she's got her Chase credit card, which she said they pay off in full. So I'm actually going to delete this. All right, that way this is all put together correctly. Now let's take a look at her actual budgeted items. Now she mentioned that she splits everything with her boyfriend 50-50. So you're going to see some of her fixed expenses are probably a lot lower than what you're used to, but knowing that she's in an old farmhouse with her boyfriend in Virginia, I'm like totally picturing something super country and romantic, and your 3 dogs, you're just living your best life. So the mortgage, rent payment, $365. All of these other highlighted areas, she pays 50. This is her 50% cost. I'm wondering, is $250 the 50-50 that you split with your boyfriend? Holy moly, so $500 all in for those 3 dogs? That is crazy. The $350 I could totally see, that makes sense. Electricity, $100, average total utilities is less than $150. Okay, so she actually helped me out here too. Her total fixed expenses here is $1,356. And so when I was thinking about her emergency fund, she said she had $5,000. A 2-month emergency fund for her would be about $2,700. And then a 3-month emergency fund is about $4,000. So knowing that she already has $5,000 in emergency fund savings, she doesn't need to save for that anymore. Rather, she can take any emergency fund savings and now start putting it towards the debt. So she kind of already has step 1, and step 1 for me is a starter emergency fund between 2 to 3 months of living expenses. Then you can really start working your debt payoff plan, and then after you're debt free, then you can work on building up an emergency fund fully funded equal to 6 months of living expenses or more. So that all looks good here. Let's take a look at fun. So she's spending about $1,000 per month on fun, including the biggest ones look like personal care, restaurants, shopping / fun money. So this is an area that we could definitely address if you're really wanting to pay down your debt fast. Then let's look at her future and sinking funds. So she's got some investment money of $300, vacation of $200, gifts, pets, sinking fund, upcoming surgery, and teeth cleaning. Oh no. Okay, well, looks like she has some sinking fund money already set aside for that. So I love that you're already putting the sinking funds into place. Looks like you're not contributing to the emergency fund, which is what I like to see. Car fund, I'm guessing this was from before, so maybe this should be like car maintenance fund, because eventually your car is going to need insurance, registration, tags, all that good stuff. Actually, did I see this in here? Other auto expenses, car insurance. Switch to doing this every 6 months. Now a sinking fund due in August. Okay, perfect. All right, so looks like we need to, oh, here it is, car insurance here. Bills, taxes, $70 a month. So great, I love that you switched this to the 6-month premium, because you typically get a discount by paying every 6 months instead of every month. You guys can do the exact same thing to get a discount on your car insurance premium by just paying in full for 6 months. And if you're like, that's a lot of money to like dump out at one time, start saving for it monthly. So what I do is, if I know my car insurance premium is $600 every 6 months, I'm setting aside $100 per month into a separate savings account, and then when it's due, I just pull all of that $600 out and then pay for it up front. super simple. Okay, so I like that you have all of these sinking funds here as well. So we've got to address that you are negative 362. And also I see that you have other investments here, your 403B, your Roth IRA, Fidelity brokerage account. Very, very cool. I think that though, right now, knowing that you have 10% of your income going into your 403B, and she did tell me that she does not get an employer match, so she really wants to make sure she is setting herself up for retirement success. I think we can do the IRA investment needs to go down to 0 because that looks like outside investing outside of your 403B. And right now we need to really focus on making sure that we're not overspending in our budget and that we're getting this down to a 0 balance, and then making sure that we don't have any extra money floating around here too. So $2,000 was going into her student loan savings account. This is super smart. And a lot of people are saying, well, why wouldn't she just bring her federal student loan account balance down by $36,000, $37,000 now so that she doesn't accrue the interest when it kicks in? Well, if my friend is really smart here, she's got it in a high yield savings account. I don't know for sure. So when she watches this video, I hope you do, because in a high yield savings account, they are currently earning 3.75%. So you are earning 3.75% on this $37,000. So you are getting free money out of that. Whereas if you were paying down your federal student loans now while the interest rate is 0, you didn't really earn any money. Yes, your account balance went down, but in this regard, when we know that those student loan payments and interest is going to resume, she can make that lump sum payment of $37K plus towards her student loan debt right before those payments kick in, thus decreasing her overall account balance and decreasing the amount of interest accrued. So I think this is super smart and she can continue to do that. However, she's putting $2,000 towards that and we're still at a negative budget balance of negative 62. So something's got to give here just a little bit. So maybe, you know, we could do some of these savings a little bit less than, maybe, you know, restaurants goes to 150, personal care goes to 200, and now we've got ourselves in a net of $37. So she could play around with maybe decreasing some of her fund money spending or some of her savings right here and make sure that she keeps that $2,000 right where she wants it, because she really wants to attack that student loan debt. Let's take a look at the debt reduction calculator. This is the free template that I use by vertex42.com. You can download that using the link in the description box below. I don't get any kickback from this. I wished I would have created this myself, but anyway, what I did is I put her student loans and her car loan into this little debt table here. And then I just kept those minimum balances, knowing that the minimum payments are going to be $224 for the student loans, and then her total outstanding balance and the interest rates. Now, she does have multiple interest rates. What would be even more helpful, I think, for you is to look at all of your student loans. You probably have multiple, as you were saying, 7.6%, 7%, 5%, all that good stuff. You could just line item every single student loan inside of this template, and then it could get a little bit more granular on your timeline, but I'll just use what you gave me for now. So that minimum payment on your debts right now is close to $800. So if you were talking about putting $2,000, actually it was $2,000 towards the student loan, and actually it looked like, I wonder, let me just zero this out for you so I can get a better picture of what this is looking like. Okay, so you got the $2,000 here. Let's take a look at the expenses. This is making more sense to me now. Okay, you're already doing the $2,000 plus you're already paying you're paying $570 towards the car loan. So really right now you're paying $25.70 towards your debt anyways, except instead of making the payment directly to your lender for the student loans, you're just putting it into a savings account. So you're already pretty much doing this. Let's take a look. Okay, so right now your extra payment towards debt is $1,777. So this is what this looks like. Down here at the bottom, if we are focused on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate, we're looking at the student loans because your car loan is only at 5%. So in this scenario, we're looking at just under 7 years to pay off that student loan. And then you did tell me that you were on a 5-year plan for your car loan. I don't anticipate you paying your car off early. I think you're on the hook for $570 per month until the loan is completely paid off. So if you're comfortable with that for the next 5 years and knowing that you're going to have a car payment for that long, I hope it's your dream car. I hope you're in love with it, because by the time you become debt-free, and hopefully by the time you become car debt-free, you can continue to drive that car for at least another 5 years and really work on saving up cash for the next car. So I think, honestly, I'm disappointed that the car loan happened. And I think even more so, not so much that I'm disappointed that the car loan happened, I'm disappointed at how much that car loan is. I mean, knowing that you already put $15K down and you still owe $30,000, so a $45,000 car. I want you to have a really safe vehicle. I also want you to be smart about those decisions. I mean, it would have been cool if you would have been rocking like a 2012 Chrysler minivan with your 3 dogs. I don't know. I think there could have been better options for you for a used car that was also really safe, that you could have looked on Consumer Reports. I definitely don't want to bash you on your decisions, but I do feel, in my opinion, that we could have kept that at a lower cost and definitely at a lower payment. So I'm not a fan of car loans, never have been, never will be. In your scenario, I kind of see why you did it, although last time I think you had mentioned that you didn't have any issues with your car other than you wanted more space for the dogs. And in that case, I think you could have picked something that was cheaper. In that case, if you're hell-bent on keeping this car, then you have to accept the fact that it's going to be $570 a month for the next 5 years. Okay. Student loans, this is where things could get interesting. Now, if I'm taking a look at your budget, this is where we can start cutting things or adding in extra income opportunities if you really want to pay it off fast. You did mention that you can qualify for overtime and work night shifts, in which you can get extra income out of that, an extra $10 per hour on top of, I think you were making like $57, $56 per hour. So if you could even earn an extra $500 per month just by picking up extra work shifts, I wonder what this could do for you. So if we had an extra $500 per month coming in, and we can net about another $750. Ooh, okay, let's take a look at this. So if I did $27.50, and by the way, I kind of touched your fund money, but not really. I reduced it by $100, so that's all good. We still have money left over and you're still making minimums on that. So let me take a look at this. Ooh, I really like this. Okay, all right, a plan for you. There's actually 2 different options. If you can free up $3,320, that is literally more than half of what you take home in salary, which is something that I did when I was paying off my student loan debt. And because you're living so cheaply right now, that's the kicker, is that you guys have to make that farmhouse work. You could be completely debt-free in 5 years if you can find an extra $500 per month, which for you I think is totally doable. The second option here is that you can treat this as interval sprints. This is something I have not recommended to any of my other clients before, because either I see the debt-free journey as a marathon where they're gonna be on this for a long time, or I see it as a sprint where it's literally a year or 2 and then they're done. For you, you have a really unique opportunity because you have student loans at the variable interest rates and you have a lot of savings. You can treat this as an interval sprint. What I mean by that is knowing that the 7.6% student loan that you have, you're going to pay off in full, that to me is a sprint. The next payment that you can make, the 7%, and you can knock like half of that, that's another sprint. Then you can slow down and start chipping away at it, in which it could take you several months and obviously several years to kind of hit the next one. So treat them as interval sprints. You're going to pay off that first one really quickly. You're going to pay off the second one half really quickly. Then it's going to feel like a little bit of a marathon to pay off that second student loan. Take a break, and then we're going to kick up the momentum again and sprint towards that third student loan until that one's paid off. Now, the beauty of this is you can kind of put the gas on or the brake on whenever you feel that you need to. The $500 extra in your income, I think, could be achievable, but we definitely don't want to burn you out, which is why I didn't really want to touch your fund money, because I also want you to live your life. You also want to take a vacation. You also want to do gifts. You also want to take care of your pets. I totally get that. This does not need to be a scorched earth approach. However, you could use some down months in which you don't have a lot going on. Maybe you have a really quiet winter season or a really quiet summer. Maybe that's where we can really start shaving things temporarily. Maybe June and July are sprint months for you and shopping goes down. Personal care goes down, you know, restaurants goes down. And look, I'm still allowing for fast food and snacks. So there I've freed up another $250, $260 that I could put towards your debt. Let's take a look at that. $3,580. If you could do that, that significantly drops down the amount of time that you're in that student loan journey from 5 years to 4.5 years. That's 6 months just completely saved that you wouldn't ever have to make another student loan payment. So you could treat this like sprints, interval sprints, to see how you can knock things down quickly for 2 months, and then you can go back to maybe increasing your fund money budget and then going back to just that regular cadence of the $2,500, $2,527. So yeah, you could take it either way. I love that flexibility for you, and knowing that, yes, I did take away your IRA in outside investing, but I know that you're putting 10% towards your retirement. So if I can still see that building up over time, imagine after 5 years how much money you'd have. You'd have over $3,000 of your money back, knowing that it's just 5 years of a marathon. We're doing interval sprints during it, and it's done. What I love about this is that your total interest paid has significantly increased. So lower is better, obviously. The interest that you pay, you never get that money back. $24,000 that you pay, that's almost, I mean, that is a new car. That's the same amount as a new car. That could be money that goes towards a down payment. So if I was looking back at this, and let's say you were only putting like $1,000 towards that debt, including your car, or you can't even do that. Like it's just not possible. Let's take a look at this again. Okay, so yeah, even if you just only put $1,500, which obviously I think this is going to be more, if you were still doing $2,000, look how much interest you pay if you only put $2,000 between your student loan and your car note. You pay over $46,000 in interest. Whereas if we did, you know, the $3,300, look how much that dramatically drops in interest. And you can check out your payment schedule here and see exactly how much money you should be putting towards your student loans. And then obviously the car loan is going to stay the same. So really we're just talking about these student loans. And I think what's going to be really helpful for you is if you go back to this tab and then you break out each of those individual student loans with the interest rates to see what that would look like. I know I love your plan of holding on to the student loan payments in your high yield savings account. I'm really curious how this is all going to work out for you once those payments resume. Probably most likely by fall of 2023. We'll see. I really hope that they kick in that 10K blanket forgiveness, because that's really going to help you out here. Like, let's just even see what that looks like. Oh my gosh. If you got that reduction, then here it is. And actually, you know what I didn't even do is I didn't even take out, let's make this even more realistic, because right now you have, let's say you have the $37,000. So this is even going to be better for you because this is what you're going to be starting with, right? And then let's say you start this in September. This will be more realistic. Okay, so let's say by September of 2023, payments and interest resume back on your student loans. You make a lump sum payment of $37,000. The $10K forgiveness goes in, and now 5 years becomes 3 years and 3 months if you put a total of $3,300, so an extra $2,500 towards your debt. This is so awesome. So we're talking max 5 years. I think very doable for you is just over 3 years. That's amazing. I love this for you. Okay, so that's a look at this budget of physician's assistant making around $114,000 per year, who has a lot of student loans, $143,000 in student loans, and a pretty hefty car loan of $30,000. But as you saw, she was able to really live intentionally by keeping her basic living expenses really, really low, and in turn taking a lot of that extra cash. I mean, she could put literally half of her income towards that debt because a lot of her fixed expenses are so low. And I kind of touched her fun money budget, but not by much. I still think that she has plenty of room to live her life and do the things that she loves. Hanging out with her 3 dogs in a farm in Virginia is kind of what I'm picturing. Rocking on the front porch with a sweet tea. I mean, life is good, and life is even sweeter because she has an excellent debt-free plan. If you want to take this conversation even further, I have an opening spot in my money coaching program, Budget Bootcamp, where we talk about your finances in a private setting and work on action items to hit your financial goals to help you become financially confident. Once again, more fun, less payments is the goal. Be sure to check out that link using the link in the description box below. And if you aren't part of the Debt-Free Millennials community, come on family, hit that subscribe button and join over 65,000 millennials who are committed to a life of more fun and less payments. And I'll catch you in the next video.